85% of people prefer text over email and phone calls because they want to engage in a conversation. All text messaging is not equal. Customers respond to people, not bots. Be more like people and start having conversations that end in conversions. Use Scipio. Hey thieves, this is Andre coming from the editing room floor, and we didn't mention this in the show because we're hoping that the audio would turn out all right, but I wanted to let you guys know that this was recorded in Scott's minivan because we weren't able to get access to the studio tonight. So the audio is a little rougher than usual, hoping to bring back our good old Steal This Idea quality next week. Okay, Scott, I have bad news.
What's the bad news?
That on this show, we aren't going to do good idea, bad idea.
That's a rare...
I know.
You could probably count...
It's a teaser for what's to come.
How many episodes do you think we haven't done good idea, bad idea?
We've done it every episode.
So this is the first time?
I think so.
That's kind of...
But what I wanted to give us the opportunity to do...
Yes.
Because all mistakes are opportunities in disguise, is an opportunity to talk about products that we love in our lives.
Yes. Somebody recommended this to me. It might have been my wife.
We don't know who it was.
And she'll be
probably
like...
your wife, who was encouraging you to be a more positive...
It probably was my wife. And she'd be like, it was me. Like, I'm going to get home. She's like, yeah, it was me. To maybe highlight some of the companies or things that we love instead of just dunking on ideas constantly, which we will continue to do for the record. But, maybe every once in a while, change it up a little bit. Yeah. So like good company, great company. Ooh, what about that? Good product, great product. Is that a good idea, bad idea?
Sure. Love it.
Yeah.
I can do a good and a
great, yeah. Let's see, I'll start. It's a little biased because they're a thief.
Okay.
And so this is Kyle Kano's company, which is the honey jar. And Kyle Kano, he's a thief. He's just been like...
is he a local beekeeper or something?
Yeah, so he's like started this honey...
I think he followed me on Twitter the other day and I was like, Kyle Kano, this is the guy.
Yeah, so I don't totally know, but like I've always known him as somebody who's had a honey business or been in the bee business. And I just think that's like super dope that like he's got this like this little bee startup honey thing. And I asked him because we were talking about Boombox.
Yeah.
And he said what would be a good addition to Boombox. One is making them vending machines. And I asked him, I was like, hey, as a small business owner, would you put like honey sticks in boom boxes to like grow business? He's like, absolutely. And I was like, that's awesome. Anyway, the honey jar, I think it's thehoneyjarhome.com is their website, but like good company.
Great.
Shout out to them.
Love it.
What's yours? Good company.
I think...
Or product. Doesn't have to be...
Yeah, now I feel guilty because like you went like for the hyper-local thief business.
My other one is definitely not that.
Okay, good. I think when I think of products that I truly love, and I think I've said this on previous shows, but not in this context, but the Norelco One Blade is the electric razor I use now. And this is, if you go to Target, if you go anywhere, you'll see these, but they're basically like these kind of bright green, neon green razors that are electric, but like super low profile. The blades are not cheap, but not that expensive either. You can wet or dry shave.
So Manscaped downstairs, Norelco One Blade.
Norelco for my face.
For your face.
Yes.
Yeah,
it gets like the one attachment like gets you that perfect like, because really what I hate is I enjoy being clean shaven. I really don't enjoy having a beard. But what I love is like 4 days after.
A nice 5 o'clock.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the Norelco One Blade has the blade that gets me there. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can't grow a beard, or it would take me a year to grow a beard.
Really?
So I'm either clean shaven or have a 5 o'clock.
I'm always so curious. Like, so I've had a beard and we talked about this on a Patreon episode, but I've had a beard like since I was like 11. And so do you just like, you just wait and it never comes?
So I don't
even know what it is like.
Yeah, like it just gets like a little thicker and then like, it just stays thick. And the problem is it's patchy. So like the connecting between like kind of the top of my mouth never really fills in. And I have patches here and there. So it just doesn't look good and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And some people, it's like, it just keeps powering through and growing out. It's like, it would take me months
to get to it.
Yeah. And I just don't think it would look that great. So my great company or product is Xbox Game Pass.
What?
Yeah.
Is it not Xbox Game Pass? Is that not the one that they just like jacked the price up like 3x or whatever?
No, So they jacked up Xbox Live, which is just like their online thing. But then they reversed it. They said, just kidding. That was a dumb move.
That was such a bad move.
Like everybody was like, what? They're like, yeah, that
Which is awesome because it always feels like you're powerless
in
those scenarios. So it is actually awesome that
like a bunch of consumers should be like, no. So Xbox Game Pass, for those who don't know, it's basically they curate like 100 games. Mm-hmm. So for $15 a month, you get like the online service and this Game Pass. So it's just like out of the box, you could buy an Xbox and have 100 games ready to play. And like, there's just enough games on there that like there's new stuff and there's like old stuff and stuff I would never buy. But like my buddy Brian Bear, I don't think he listens, but we've been talking about playing this game called A Way Out for like 3 years.
Yeah. Which Scott texted me. Listeners out there, if you're a gamer, check out A Way Out because it is actually super awesome. But Scott texted me that he was playing and I was like, whoa, that's awesome. Because it is an awesome game.
And I only played it and we were like, oh, it's just like, it's a 2-player, you're escaping from prison, it's a co-op thing, but like somebody's got to buy it. And there's like, we just drug our feet for 3 years. Anyway, now it's on Game Pass, so we're like, sweet. Yeah. So now we played it and it's like fun. It's cool. So look, there's a bunch of...
You're not done yet?
No, we just started.
Text me when you're done.
Okay.
This is one of those games
that like, whoa.
Once you're done, that's when you reflect on it.
Yeah. So anyway, so I just think like that model, like games as a service, is super cool, especially these days, because there's so many indie games, like Celeste is on there, but just games that like I know are good, but like I don't know if I'd want to pay, but like because I'm paying for it. Anyway, I'm into Xbox Game Pass. Big fan of it.
I think my great right now is my cat's drinking fountain. So this is real though. I'm sure we have cat owner listeners out there. Go to Amazon and Google drinking fountain. Cats don't like to drink out of bowls. They like to drink out of faucets and things like that.
Something that flows over.
Mm-hmm. And if they don't get enough water, so especially if you're dry feeding your cat, they need to be getting enough water.
Yeah.
A cat fountain is a surefire way to do it. We did this after my cat had bladder stones, which was hugely expensive. I was looking back on like our finances for 2020 and I was just like,
what happened in August?
I made a considerable jump, and Abe, my partner, also made a considerable jump. And I was like, why does it feel like our quality of life didn't improve that much? And it all came down to cat veterinary expenses. And I was like, that kind of destroyed our 2020. But that is another product that I think is great.
Huh. There we go. I guess it's time to start a podcast now.
Let's do it.
You're a thief and a liar.
I only lied about being a thief.
Steal.
Lie.
We're gonna steal the ship.
Commandant, Lord Lieutenant.
An idea that is fully formed, fully understood, that sticks.
Will someone like you just steal?
Ideas are bulletproof.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Steal this idea.
Hello again, thieves.
We're back.
We are back. And we are doing a fun episode today.
Yeah.
A little different, longer intro. We're, being positive about companies, trying that out. And then this episode, what we decided to do, first off, for those who are brand new to Steal This Idea, welcome. Steal This Idea. Then we podcast where every week we give out genius business ideas for you to steal.
That's right.
What we're doing this episode is we're actually doing, normally we do a good idea, bad idea, and then one of us kind of brings the big idea, and then usually we kind of hop into the mailbag or do something like that. This episode, we're actually going to bring 3 ideas just back to back. It's 2 workshop ideas. So Andre's got one, I've got one, and then Andre has also a big idea. So idea that he's like pretty confident in, and then the workshop ones we're like confident in and maybe want to get in there. My workshop is especially like workshop, really a lot of workshop there.
Got it.
So that's what we're going to do this episode. And let's just dive right in, Andre, to your first workshop.
So my first workshop is one shaving inspired. So it goes back to my Norelco One Blade product endorsement.
Great product.
So what is, I guess you don't shave that much.
I shave in the shower and I shave once a week. Clean shave. Like pretty much every Sunday I shave in the shower.
But always in the shower.
Yeah.
So you never shave over the sink.
No, not anymore. Once I convert to shower, it's like I've never gone back.
Yeah.
But I know that
I guess for people that don't know what it's like to shave, which I guess
I used to shave with shaving cream.
So what is the most annoying part of shaving?
So you have to like get hot water, you got to put the thing on, you're worried about cutting yourself.
Sure.
And
clean up.
Clean up is also, you got to wipe it all down, you got to drain it all out.
Okay. Scott doesn't grow facial hair, so he's a bad example, and I've confirmed this actually with multiple people today, because I was talking to a couple people about...
People who shave with lots of hair, there's like beard hairs everywhere.
Beard hair, everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it truly monumental amount of hair.
I've had roommates with beards.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
So it's like on a nice granite countertop. It's like your crevices and your grout just gets clogged with beard hair.
Right.
In my nice porcelain white sink, it's just like beard hair everywhere. It's just like painful to deal with beard hair. And they're tiny and it's like they like don't, it's just bad.
So your options are a dirt devil.
Yes, that's one option is a dirt devil. Another option is like there used to be an ad seen on TV, like tent. Like upside down tent. Have you seen this?
I've seen the one that's like almost like a bib,
exactly.
and you like pin it up against the window.
A bib that you can shave into. I'm interested in that idea, and I think if I could, again, it's one of those things. If I could buy it at Target, I might get one.
Yeah.
But what I end up doing is I turn on the sink and I cup my hands together, and I fill them with water, and then I just splash it around the basin until I can get all of the hairs from all the different areas washed down the sink.
Okay.
When I was I don't know how good of an idea this is, but I was dreaming up is like, what if I could 3D print a little device that I could stick on my faucet.
Okay.
The same as if I were to like stick a spoon under there.
And get, a little pressure?
Well, you put a spoon under a flow of water in the sink and it does fountains out everywhere in like an equally distributed.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like, what if you could put a little attachment on and then all the water
kind of clips onto the gooseneck of your fountain. You pull it under.
Yep.
And then you turn and then fountains out.
And it fountains out and cleans the sink.
That's not a bad idea.
My idea, what I'm imagining is like it's as simple as just like a little tiny device that really just like creates that basin effect.
Yeah.
And it sits in your drawer, and then when you're ready to like, and I think it could work for toothpaste, it could work for anything you want to rinse out of the sink. You stick it up there, and then you get water on all the sides of your sink.
What about this as a road map? It's the same type of thing. It's a little bit bigger for your toilet. Clips in, goes down, and like you put like a cleaning solution or whatever.
I like that.
That would be a little more complicated.
From a like 3D printing perspective, but also still very much 3D printable.
Yeah, well, and
as a prototype.
And you have to think about like how, like where water comes from, and
I know I like the idea that it's like you put it down there, and then you just fill from a little hose or something.
Yeah.
You pour your clean liquid down, and it goes and just evenly distributes to the bowl.
Yeah.
I think it could work even better for toilets because unlike sinks, toilets are all kind of standard dimensions.
Yeah. But going back to the sink, now that combining these two ideas, so imagine now this is a way to sell even more, right? So now you have your 3D printed device or whatever it is, and then you have a little cartridge on top. So in one sense, it's like, hey, turn this on, water goes down, great. But what if you just want to clean your sink? So you do a little pump action, and that like pumps adds the solution,
liquid,
and then whether it's bleach or whatever it is, and now you turn it on. Now you're getting soapy water coming down the sides.
Right.
That's a real easy.
Yeah. Because
if you're cleaning the sink, you gotta do this whole scoopy.
Exactly. So wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Especially when cleaning your sink is with toothpaste, with your morning routine. You brush your hair over the sink.
Yeah.
Some hair gets in your sink.
Well, toothpaste is in there. I mean, like
toothpaste and hair cream.
We have to clean our. Yeah. My wife gets on me all the time because our sinks get just dirty constantly, and it's just like, there's like lots of stuff. So
the idea that there was a little device that you could just like add maybe a magnets on, so it has like kind of that sexy click.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then like just a little guy that you squeeze to add some cleaning solution. Gives you that fresh bathroom smell. There's something there.
Yeah, I'm into that. I would call that something like sink clean or yeah.
I would call that the item and clean. Like it's just like not that inventive.
Yeah, you almost don't want something like Alfonso Wash or some out there name. You want like, oh, this is what this does. Like gunk.
Gunk be gone.
Yeah, whatever. Good idea though. If you are, I know I have my brother's brother-in-law, he's a 3D printer. I'd be interested to see if he could do something like that or like even as a prototype. Okay, Andrew, I've got one for you here. And as I mentioned, it's definitely more of a workshop
mine was pretty workshop-y,
yours,
so I don't know.
Well, but yours, like you had a pretty clear version. I have an end state that I think makes sense, but I'm not totally sure on the beginning state. So this is the pain point. As you will roll your eyes, I've been real deep into Clubhouse lately.
Yes. Which I don't know why I find it so annoying, but I just like, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You either like, it's funny because I've talked to people about it, and it's either like, oh, that sounds cool, send me an invite. They're like, this sounds like the worst possible place.
Yes.
Like,
to me, it sounds like LinkedIn, but with voice. It's not an accurate.
No, so like, for example, on the way over here, I was like, oh, I try to make an effort to hop in once a day.
I hopped in Scott's car and he was listening to Clubhouse, like connected to his car, which I can't think of anything like, because that's like what I think like annoying people do. It's like they listen to business books,
listen to like talk radio
in their car, and like I just think that's annoying.
So the room I hopped in was like, we're playing a game called We're Not Strangers. And so there was like 10 people in a room, and it was like most of these like, it was like a handful of college girls, who I think a couple of them were friends, and then like everybody else was just like people who just stumbled in the room. And it was like basically playing a party game of like, all right, are you more afraid of success or you're more afraid of failure or whatever, and like talk about that.
Yeah.
And like you just go in the room and somebody says whatever. And it was like
Sure.
When we talked about that idea, that
talked about a conversation topics game not too long ago.
That's like Omegle meets, but like put you in a room with 4 people.
That was Meet.io.
Meet.io, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
The experience is like, this is what like Meet, like a similar vibe.
The root of what that was.
Whereas like it was normal people, like you have to be normal to be in this setting. Like it's hard to be a troll in this.
Yeah.
And this actually leads into my idea. So one thing that I've heard from a couple people is like, there's this worry of like, oh yeah, what happens if you get some sketch person or some weirdo?
Yeah.
And I think you look at Twitter and lots of places, like toxicity, especially with trolls and fake accounts, like it can be extremely high. So I think there's room for a service called something like legit.io. And the concept is, I go to Legit and I basically have to confirm that I'm a real person and I'm verified by like a couple people, and like I prove my legitimacy. And once I do that, I'm like verified, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then Legit.io basically integrates with like all social medias. And so now I can log in, and like if I'm legit verified, it like pings that network. And so like none of that information carries over, but it shows that like I've been verified by this service that would have to be generally conceived as like credible, so that I could also use that as like a way to be like a pseudonym type person. So maybe I don't want to find, and this is what brought this up. So Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, he tweeted out, I wish there was an incognito mode on Clubhouse, because I think he doesn't necessarily want to go in and like have all these people or whatever. Yeah. But in order to do that, you have to like not go by your name or whatever. So if there was a way to like sync this up with legit.io, it's like, oh, I'm verified. Everybody who's on this like, oh, verified only or whatever, legit only. I don't know. I feel like there's room for something like this.
I really think there's room for something like this. So really, what I picture is just like a little badge next to your username.
It's just like the verified check.
Yeah, the verified check mark that's on TikTok and Twitter, everywhere.
And what that is basically like, hey, a human has like somewhat verified that like you are
the person you say you are,
and have influence, basically. Like it's not just that you're real, because most people could prove that. It's that you're real and have influence.
Yeah.
So that's been a divergence there. Whereas this is more like you're real and you're legitimate, and like no one should question that because of this.
Yeah, I think. So what I want to combine though is, one, that you've proved that you're like not a bot or a spammer and all of that. But then 2, also like that you are like you have some semblance of like decent social like behavior.
Yes.
So I think like what I picture, but also what I want to combine is like still you're able to be anonymous on the internet.
Yes. And I think that's the point. Yeah. It's like if you want anonymity, which is important.
Yeah.
This is a way to have that and let people be like, oh, okay, he's legit certified. All right. So there's a real person under there.
Yeah, there's a real person under there that has been validated for all these different things. I think though, like if you could build this ecosystem where you validate a bunch of different things, which is like I validated that they're a U.S. citizen, which is like necessary for like a lot of these contracting gig type websites.
Oh, interesting.
And that they're over 18, right? So that like
another one where it's like, you have to put in your social, you have to put in or whatever,
and then it's like all these services then can call to your like verified profile invalidate, like, has he been banned from Reddit? Like,
Yeah, honestly though.
but then also, like, we still want to preserve a community where people, like, can be, like, free. Because what I was playing with in my mind is they get banned from Reddit, and then it's like, then they lose their checkmark everywhere. So they have a incentive to be a good person across the whole net. But what I don't like about that is then it's like, okay, so then
you get like a one strike policy.
Yeah, and it's just like, also, then we're like putting our hands in like all these websites. What will be cool is if on your profile, it just like aggregated your social rap across a lot of different places. So like, this user has been banned from League of Legends. And it's just like, okay, then we can use that to like understand better what kind of social person this is.
The other thing you could do is if it's something as simple as like green, yellow, red, where it's like, as far as we can tell, you're green verified, which means like you have good standing in all these places.
Yeah.
If you get banned from Reddit, that brings you down to yellow. That you could also get down just because you're a more controversial person. It doesn't mean you're a bad person and you lose your access, but like, it just means something. Like, and then red might be like, all right, a little more problematic. Like,
well, and like, picture this. So this is great for like discussion-based sites like Clubhouse and stuff like that, and Reddit. Like, to understand, like, is this a bot? Is this a real person? Is this somebody, like, of some authority, whatever?
Right.
But then, like, picture this for, like, dating websites.
Sure.
Where it's like,
I mean, honestly, though,
am I actually talking, like, this profile
This is a man.
They're 5 miles away and in my town, but, like, their pictures don't look real, and
totally.
It's just like, what if you could gate your dating website on only people that are verified, or what if you could just display that badge so that people can, like, feel confident that they're talking to somebody who's actually been reviewed in the real world.
Well, and you speaking of dating, it's like, hey, and whether at what point this is done in legit.io or whatever, I say I'm a man, I say my age, I've confirmed that. So when I sign up for Tinder or whatever, it doesn't ask me those things.
Yeah.
It just skips over, and like, it's like, oh, okay, got it. Like you don't choose that part because you're this, great. We were able to jump over that part.
Yeah.
And then you just have these other things, right? So there's some engineering stuff there.
And I mean, like, I think we are going towards these like big like social community standpoints. But Scott and I used to work at a payments company and like all payments and banking companies had like huge
fraud.
And there's a ton of actually technology in the banking industry that helps prevent fraud by looking at IP addresses, by looking at some of those indicators. But in like banking and like even e-commerce, where it's like they have a fraud problem too, if you could use these like verified profile users.
And again, as a company, you could say, we only sell people who are verified.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard. All you have to do is like go on, you upload some official documents, maybe you have one reference, and then you're verified.
Like picture like an e-commerce store that says we only sell to people who are verified. And because of that, we're able to lower our prices because we're not dealing with chargebacks or spam.
Yeah, you're mitigating some risk there.
Yeah.
We're able to give higher credit lines. We're able to do all this other stuff.
There's a ton of applications.
Yeah.
And it's shocking that no single company has been able to build like that social trust.
Like the closest thing, and it's not even like this, the closest thing I can think of that's even this was a service called Clout back in the day.
Yeah. Clout is close though.
Yeah, it like basically scrapes your social media, or I don't think it does it anymore, but scrape your social media, gave you a score. It was like, oh, based on how much interaction you get on your social media, like you're an 80 or an 81.
And it was more geared towards like giving people a way to quantify their influence across the whole internet.
Whereas
it didn't do anything as far as like guaranteeing your identity.
And this actually, I think, as a point, isn't about influence. There's stuff for that.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, yep, this is just
this is
you're normal, you're real.
Ultimately, if you reach a certain level of influence, then what's great is like Twitter will verify you. Fortunately, like for one, wanting to be anonymous, or two, just people who are not of that level, there's no verification.
Anyway, legit.io. I think it could work.
I think it could work.
I don't know. You would have
it's one of those. It's an ambitious idea. To do it right is ambitious.
And you'd have to be someone like an Elon Musk, or you'd have to have a network effect that,
or like to be able to get into one of these like incubators. Like I'm sure PayPal, for example, has like a venture arm, and it's like this would be something that a PayPal venture arm could try
because it benefits all these guys. But like you got to have all this existing reach and convince.
And ideally, have the reach to get into somewhere where it can matter, like PayPal.
And then quickly, before we move on to your big idea, I just want to shout out. So in that room that I was in, the gals I was talking to, specifically Isabel and So Young, they said they had an idea in college that was basically like modeled after The Sims. When the Sims like take a shower and they like lift up and just like they walk out. It's that, but in real life. So like a 360 shower where you could, instead of taking like a long shower, you could almost like what Dishly is.
Yeah.
But like for a real shower, like a really fast, incredibly efficient 30-second shower that was just like.
Yeah, I think about that all the time because like I'm not OCD. I'm not even close to like what real OCD looks like, but I just like sometimes I'm particular, and sometimes I can't shake the feeling kind of dirty feeling, and I'm like, I wish that I could just like get in a machine
that just like,
and it just literally,
I know I'm getting clean.
Yeah, exactly. It like literally just like brushes the hell out of every part of my body, and like sanitizes and then dries me and like does everything.
Yeah.
I would be really into such a concept.
Anyway, shout out to them.
It'll never make it into American households because unfortunately people like showering, they like bathing.
I know that's like the one thing is like I really love just like standing underwater for 30 minutes just like thinking.
And I hate that. I'm in, out, but I need to feel completely clean. Anyway,
shout out to them.
Isabel and So Young.
All right, Andre, to wrap up the episode, let's pitch me with your big idea here.
I don't like to think of the big ideas being the wrap up of the episode, but that's okay.
It's like the climax of the episode.
Yes, that is a much better word for it. So stop me if you think we've talked about this on a podcast before, but I have an idea called Chefdate. This is the first time ever I think I have had a good idea. Are you looking at this and saying like, did we already have an idea like this?
I
don't think so.
I don't think so.
So essentially the idea is instantly find a talented chef for your next anniversary, date night, birthday, or anything. And I've done some of the research.
So like an in-house chef?
Yeah, like a private chef.
Okay.
Somebody that comes to your house and cooks a meal.
We have not talked about this.
Good. So I've done some research. And what I did is I searched Salt Lake City private chef. And what came up was like Thumbtack, which is a services company. Which is like, Thumbtack's a little weird because you post your job and then people bid for your job.
And
weird mechanism.
And I get the sense that Thumbtack is a lot more geared towards like house projects.
Yeah, it's more geared towards like somebody to install a new light switch.
Yeah, so put up a fence.
There were like a couple of home chefs on Thumbtack, but it wasn't like, wow, what a diverse offering.
Yeah.
Or like any filter. It was just like, here's a list of home chefs. And then there was a company in Park City that like, they clearly service like the vacation homes or people in Park City. And they're like, we'll come to your house and we'll cook you a nice meal. But it was Park City specific. Right?
Oh, really?
And then there was one...
Rich people only.
Yeah, there was one site that had clearly attempted to build like more of a marketplace, but like there was like no content on it. There was like, it was not a good website at all. They clearly weren't succeeding.
Yeah, it tried and failed.
Yeah, so when I was workshopping the idea, is essentially what we want is like a gig economy marketplace where you open Chefdate and you say, I have an anniversary coming up and my wife loves Indian food. And now
wouldn't it be great?
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if somebody would come to my house
and like make this nice Indian
spread for us? And maybe depending on your preference, maybe they are like social, or maybe they're just like there and cooking, or
silent.
What is silent, or whatever. Or maybe because you're strapped for time, you need them to bring their own ingredients. You need them to bring their own pots and pans and whatever.
Sure.
Or maybe because we have special dietary needs, you're like, I'll provide the ingredients, you just come and cook them.
I don't have a wok, so...
Yeah, so if you could bring that would be great. And really, what was exposed is like, one, I think that people, based on like limited market research that I did today,
right?
I think people would do this. This was presented by one of our mutual friends, Brock. He was like, I wish that there was a way to have these special meal occasions at my house.
Yeah.
And I wish it was easy to just get a chef to come and like cook me and my spouse steaks, or cook me and my friends steaks for a dinner party, or what have you.
Yeah.
And to be able to like kind of shop for a chef that like meets your style. They
especially
are cool or whatever.
Yeah, I think especially, and maybe we'll get into this, but like I think the idea of like bringing a chef to your home feels expensive.
But when you really drill down to like what it would take, I think it could come out to maybe probably more expensive than a meal out, but not like, oh my gosh, I have to be $1 million.
Well, it sounds like there's some sort of gig economy to this. So you're able to drive prices down, because I could just be somebody who it happens to be really good at cooking. So like I recently just followed this guy on YouTube who like, he's like, yeah, I'm just a guy who makes I'll find stuff in restaurants and then make it a little bit healthier, a little bit cheaper, and it tastes really great. And it's like, oh, this is cool. Exactly. That guy, I would just as well
get on this app.
He didn't go to culinary school. He just like loves to cook, and like I could see him, and like I could see what he does, and he has personality, a video of him or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, I want this guy.
Exactly.
And also, I'll teach you how to make an appetite. It's like, oh sweet.
Now this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? This is a really cool in-home experience.
Yeah.
So what I think we can marry is customers that are interested in exactly what you just described.
Yeah.
And the many people out there, like, and we'll talk about this on the next slide, but I think there's a demand, like, one, in the gig economy, people are interested in just, like, a quick side hustle. Like, say you're talent, like you're
especially
from Mexico and you're talented in Mexican cuisine.
Especially
and, like,
cooking. Cooking is like a passion.
Exactly.
It's a passion skill.
Exactly. So I think that, in much like Airbnb, it's like you go to Airbnb and you're trying to find an Airbnb in San Diego. It's like you're going to find places that are like spare sofas. And then if you sort by high to low, you're going to find like huge mansions. And then there's a lot in between that's maybe more interesting to you. I think that in a great like marketplace like this,
you'd have the same thing.
Yeah, you're going to find like executive chefs that were trained and like they're going to come and like do something.
They got the white hat.
Yeah, they're going to be like truly world class. And then you're going to say, I want a specific type of food, and you're going to find somebody who's passionate about it.
No, I want a 75-year-old Mexican from Oaxaca.
Like I want a grandma to come to my house and like meet us with love and care.
Man, that would be awesome.
And it's like those are going to be two completely different price points. And I think that because like what would be
there's so many fun, especially like characters.
Yeah.
It's like, I want Joel Buxley from Northern Texas.
Exactly.
From South Texas coming and I'll make you some ribs. And he's got these as a big,
there's so much room to sell your personality. So an app that allows you to build a profile with like reviews and your experience and pictures of your food is going to be huge. But I also think the same reaction that you have, which is like, this feels like something that's really only for rich people. And also, I just feel weird about having somebody like come to my home.
Like, I think I would feel weird having somebody in a white apron, in a white hat, making a really fancy thing in my home. But I wouldn't feel weird just somebody who's like clearly knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And like, I found them on a service.
I think
and they're fun.
That's what's crucial. And I think that's what the app can bring.
Yeah.
To make it like reasonable, for the same reason that you wouldn't go say, I want to find a house to rent in San Diego, so I'm just going to start calling people. You're going to go through a service that like guarantees that both parties are going to be happy.
Yeah.
Much like this, it's like we insure you like as a chef so that if you like break or burn down their home, it'll be fine. And like we set these guidelines or parameters, like we set up front, like they going to bring the food or are you going to bring that food? Are you going to bring the things that you need or are you going to bring them? And it's like putting that backbone of like a service to put it all together.
Yeah.
I think takes something that feels like, how am I even going to like figure this out with somebody? And like brings it into as easy as ordering an Airbnb or an Uber or all these other things that are simple because they're through an app, because they're through this mechanism that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because we've reached this age in the kind of the gig economy where niche gigs are becoming like stuff like this, where like, it's not like this huge, like not everybody in the whole world is looking for a chef in home, but like enough people are. And like, this clearly is viable. I was listening to a guy, he was pitching an idea that was basically Airbnb for people going to trade shows. So it's like Airbnb specifically around where the trade show is. And so it's like a different experience where an Airbnb is just like anything, anywhere. And you're like, does there happen to be stuff by here? No. Whereas this is like, hey, you're traveling to the World Center here in Orlando. Great. Here's 100 places all around here. They know why you're here, and like, it's just a different service. And so like, this just reminds me of that, of like, I think we're going to see more and more of these types of things, these gig based, that backbone of like, all right, there's insurance, there's infrastructure. And then we're taking this thing that like people want and just like filling it, like that's the jelly on top or whatever. Yeah. But I think it's a really good idea. Again, just like all that stuff, it's dependent on a network, and I do think it is
the same thing we say for all these like network type apps. It's like you start
in a city, in Denver, you start in Boston,
20 chefs, and you're like, and I also think this may be more relevant. Like if you wanted to get an idea like this off the ground, if you have the resources, I feel like in the next year is going to be the time, because I think now more than ever, because of like what's happened in the restaurant industry over the last year. And I'm totally with you. Like I want to emphasize that we should find people for an app like this that are not everyday executive chefs. But I have a feeling that over the next year, there will be more out of work executive chefs than normal.
Yes.
That maybe you could say like, hey, I'm starting this app. I want to have you on there. Like, let's get together and write a profile and take some pictures and see like, can we get 10 chefs on an app? And can we get them booked out for a month?
And think about the networking possibilities. So So I know one guy who is a professional chef who like I knew him before he was a chef, and like I've seen him become a chef, and now he's a chef. And like it's like you got to grind through a lot of not fun chef jobs until you like land on one that like is like a good fit for you or whatever. And like that stuff can be, and like anyway, like if in a service like this where you're like reaching out all these people, like I can be a restaurant owner, and I can say like, hey, I want you to come be a chef at my like that you could totally open up networking possibilities for these people who are like trying to get in front of these people, which like don't really have a good way to.
Yeah. The other thing that I wrote just as like to put thieves, like what's the long-term possibility is like, wouldn't it be cool if Chefdate got a partnership with Airbnb? It was like you book your 5-day stay in Mexico, and it's like, do you want to add a personal chef for Thursday night?
Yeah.
And it already has the date and the location. Like half the details are already done.
It's like one click. It just adds to the order.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think like you could almost have a business that was just like Airbnb add-ons alone. Like there's just so much
for real though
business there.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good idea. And yeah, I'd be curious to know what the thieves think. If you've dealt with a personal chef, like had a chef in home, we want to hear about that. And yeah, would you pay for this? I am inclined to believe that most people would pay for just like somebody who really knows what they're doing to come in. And I think, another part of this I was going to say is you could do a similar thing with cooking classes, which like, hey, not only will I do this, but I'll also come to your home and I'll teach you how to make this. Like, and I think that's actually half the thing. Like one of the reasons that we like, or we occasionally use HelloFresh is because it's like, oh, now I know how to make this portobello steak that I like never would have looked up. And it's just like, now I know how.
Yeah.
But having an actual person be like, oh no, this is what you do.
Yeah.
And this, and like, and then you can taste
and
it.
the ability to filter for people that like, that's what they do.
Right. I'm a
right?
steak
I also
specialist.
imagine like, there are going to be people that are not interested in like the guided tour.
Yeah.
But there are going to be people that don't want to buy that either.
Yeah.
So it's just like a place to filter from high to low, from specialty to expertise, and everything in between.
Chefdate.
I'll post so there's a slide deck that goes with the thieves that I'll post on the website.
That's a good looking logo.
Right? It's cute.
Yeah.
I put some effort in today.
Yeah, you did.
I know.
You really swung for the fences, and
I think this is a good one.
This is a good one.
I do think this is a good one. I hate presenting app ideas because it's like, who's gonna get this stuff together for an app? But we have some good ones on this podcast that I really wish people would do.
Yeah, I'll often talk to people. They're like, "Hey, I know, but I now that I'm working from home, I have time. Like, are there any good apps?" And like, yeah, I think we have a lot of our ideas. We've strayed away from apps for that reason. But right now, actually building apps is like maybe a more realistic thing to do.
Yeah.
Than starting up a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
You know,
or at least to build a prototype app.
Yeah.
To vet out your market idea and see if it's something to like go big on and invest.
I love it, Andre. You've won me over.
Wonderful.
Chef Thieves, what do you think? This an idea. I
also like the name because I think it's like you're dating it implies what it's for, which is like dates, anniversaries, things like that, special occasions. And 2, it's like you're dating the chef.
It's like a pairing.
Yeah, a pairing, a find your match kind of situation.
Yeah. Love it. Thieves idea at ghoststealthisidea.com. Let us know what you think. Engage with us on Twitter or Instagram at Go Steal This Idea Podcast on Instagram. Or no, at Steal This Idea Podcast on Instagram or at Go Steal This Idea on Twitter. And I think it's going to do it, Andre.
Love it.
This is kind of an off-the-wall episode.
A little bit.
Try to think different. Let us know if you like this episode. We want to hear from you more, Thieves. Mailbag has, we've gone through a lot of letters. We want to get some more love from the thieves.
Yes. Send us an email, idea@gostealthisidea.com, or find us on the web, www.gostealthisidea.com, where you can find our social media, like Instagram, where you can DM us, Twitter, where you can DM us. You can add Scott and I personally, at Scott the Amazing, and at Andre Wash 0. Find us there.
That's right.
I think that'll do it.
And Thieves, we love you, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
This episode of Steal This Idea was brought to you by Scipio for Teams.
That's right, Thieves. Use the code STEAL and get 1 free month on any paid plan.
Scipio, the only tool for engaging your customers at scale.
Use Scipio, the #1 engagement tool for sales teams that want more responses, appointments, and conversations. Message your leads and customers where they are on their phone. I'm not talking about phone calls. We're talking about true one-to-one texting. Use the code STEAL at Scipio.com for 2 free licenses. Use the code STEAL at Scipio.com for 2 free licenses. See you later, thieves.